Hello, my friends. This is Mary, and I'm jumping online today to talk about Blissipline. So if you're seeing this video, you might be seeing it because you already asked to join the Blissipline group, or you might have found it some other way, and in which case the Blissipline group link is in the description. And I founded the Blissipline group about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 3.5 now, I think. And I founded it for the purpose of creating a practice group where a group of us could all practice together techniques for moving in the direction of joy. And so what we do in there is every month we pick a focus and we practice together on that focus. And sometimes it'll be appreciation, or sometimes it'll be some technique. I have this thing I like called the 3-point turn, where we focus on what we want. Sometimes it'll be some other things. The practices grow out of the group. So if there's been a lot of conversation about a particular topic, then we'll develop a practice on that. And so it's always free, and I intend for it to be ongoing for many years. And so you're welcome to come and join. And I wanted to give a little foundation for the understanding that I have for the Blissipline group. I have a cat trying to crawl onto my lap here, in case you're wondering what's going on. This is Aramis. Say hello. He says, get off. So Blissipline is the practice of directing your focus in the direction of happiness. And the reason we need this is because human beings, we have a tendency to complain and kvetch a lot. And there are all kinds of great reasons for this, and we'll explore these. I'll go into them in detail in other times, and I have already talked about them on plenty of videos. However, just for now, let's understand that human beings tend to get caught on the negative. And if you give this even 5 minutes of thought, or even just spend the next 24 hours looking around and see, just today I had a friend who is moving to the country, and I had posted something about, oh, I love these woods I walk through every day, and I had posted it 6 years ago, and then Facebook popped it up, and so I reposted it and said, this is still true. And my friend wrote, and she said, oh, I'm so happy because I'm soon going to be joining you, not quite in such deep woods, but moving to the woods. And I said, oh, wow, what are you doing? And she explained she was moving somewhere. And I wrote back, I'm so happy for you. And then she wrote, yeah, I am so over NYC. We both used to live in New York. Now I love New York. I'm not over New York at all, but it just struck me that here in the middle of her opportunity to focus on a massive change, a massive positive change in her life, to move to this place she wants to go. She's already bought a house. She's already, I think she said, sold her co-op, so maybe they're renting. Maybe she's waiting for her husband. I didn't get all the details. Anyway, in the midst of the possibility of turning in the direction of that, her mind just went back to talk about what she doesn't want, and that is what we do. And the thing is, we do that to such an extent that we actually get stuck. So Blissipline is a place where we can practice turning in the direction of what we want, and a place where we can develop skillful means for doing so. Skillful means it's a phrase I learned in Buddhism, and skillful means are any technique that will move you in the direction you want. And everybody's skillful means are different. There are people who will really love doing this particular exercise and like, oh, I love it. And then there'll be other people who say, that doesn't work for me at all, blah, blah, blah. Maybe there's something wrong with me. And what I want to tell you is the skillful means that will work for you are discoverable. And my intention in Blissipline is to help you discover them. I have access to a lot of tools. I have been teaching mindfulness since 2001, so that's 18 years. It's kind of amazing that time has passed so soon. I have been a peace teacher since the 90s. I had a peace circle in my home for many years, and that led to me wanting to have a vocation to be a person who helps create peace in individuals so that we can expand it outwards to our communities. And on the way, I started realizing I also want to create joy, peace and joy. And then I began to understand what I really want is to create freedom. So peace, joy, and freedom, those are the things that I want to help train people in stepping into for themselves. And so I have lots and lots and lots of experience. I've taught workshops. I went on to get a 4-year training to become a counselor. I worked Jungian stuff. I did all kinds of stuff. I taught mindfulness-based cognitive therapy for about 9 years. I trained in somatic experiencing, which is a trauma healing protocol. And I'm one of those people who have found the thing I love. I studied this all day. Today I was studying a beautiful video by Joe Dispenza. So it's just my thing. And so I bring together a lot of tools, and we'll all explore them in Blissipline. And so Blissipline is my opportunity to create a free forum that people can stay in as long as they want and get what they want. So I want to offer one more understanding here, and that is the sort of philosophical underpinning of Blissipline. So it is my understanding that there is something bigger than us. And it's not my belief, it is my understanding. There's a big difference, because when you sort of believe something with your mind, you're kind of collecting data for it or arguing for it. But when you know something, there's a knowing. And so I get it that there is something bigger because I have touched it. And what I know is that people call this a lot of different names and get hung up on the names. And that to me is a very limiting thing, because the name that we give it boxes it up. But it is vaster than our understanding. And even if you call it God and put it in a certain religion, you must know that it is vaster than your understanding. And I'm going to say it's vaster than any religion. In fact, I'm going to say it's vaster than religion. I'm going to say it includes science. And this is one of the things that's extraordinarily exciting about being alive today, is that there are so many developments in the scientific world, in the neurobiological studies world, in the socio-economic development world. There's so many people sharing so much data that is confirming the understandings of spiritual practitioners from the past millennia. So Sufi practitioners, Buddhist practitioners, Christian mystics, Jewish mystics, Sufis are sort of the Islamic mystics, depending on who you talk to. So mystics of all religions, Jains, Hindus, people who have taken it upon themselves to look closely, have come up with many understandings. And in the modern world, that is getting wedded to modern science. It's always gotten wedded to science, by the way. All the way through history, there have been people who've been wedding the science of the times to this understanding. And in modern days, we're wedding it to neurobiology, to quantum explorations, to developments in physics beyond that, string theory, to testing biological effects of things like prayer, or taking biological samples from the same donor distance away and affecting one and watching it affecting the other. So we're learning all this stuff that is being confirmed by science now. And so in the Blissipline group, it is my intention to help us move closer and closer and closer to a deep personal understanding of the underpinnings of the universe. And I would like you to consider calling that love. Just because if you choose that as an idea, you could call it source, you could call it love. You're welcome to call it God too, or you're welcome to call it universal energies. But if you're willing to call it love, you will connect to it in a deeply personal, supportive way. And so part of what I'll be doing is helping us to see how all of these things pull together, so we are connecting with the love that is the underpinning of the universe. So in the Blissipline group, we can keep it as psychological as you want. As I said, I'm a trained therapist. I know about mindfulness. I know about the mind. I know about cognitive behavioral therapy. I teach a course on how to recognize the confirmation bias that you hold, or at least acknowledge and then shift the bias and collect data for new information. I'm very down with psychology, but we can also put it into the level of neurobiology and physiology in the heart, in the feeling centers of the body, and then we can also take it deeper to a spiritual level. So whatever level you want to work at, I want Blissipline to support you in connecting more and more with joy, freedom, and love, And what was the other thing I just said? Joy, oh, peace. Joy, freedom, peace, love, aliveness, your own creativity, your inner guidance, connection with others around the world, connections with others in your community, the freedom to choose not to connect with people you don't like, stepping into your power, recognizing your preferences, knowing your preferences matter and you get to let them guide your life. This is what we're here for. So that's my brief introduction to Blissipline. If you're new, introduce yourself. If you're not new and you're just seeing this video, feel free to introduce yourself again. Let's share all kinds of things. I like to share playful things. I like to share joyful things because Blissipline is where we're at, but we're also going to share spiritual things. We're also going to share psychological things that are beneficial. Anything that is beneficial is welcome here. Okay? All right. So a pleasure to introduce myself to you guys, and I can't wait to get to meet you in there, and I'll see you around Blissipline.